Serious, teachers of Reddit. What's the worst thing a student did to you? I had a parent push me, spit on me, and slap me when she came to my classroom unannounced because I had given her daughter a detention for spitting in my face. Parent denied it, school did nothing. Don't teach anymore. I'm in Australia, FYI. I feel for her. You do a year's worth of difficult training because you want to work with and help children, change the world for the better, and you wind up being on every day instead by parents. Luckily, teaching skills are very transferable. I'm now in the disability services industry. Exactly. She studied for years, did many years of additional specific courses. I don't know the English equivalent or Italian, and now she's so stressed she has to see a psychologist and cries all the time because it's too much for her. So she's thinking of changing profession completely. It's so unfair. You are good people. I've been mostly lucky, but I had two bad ones, both while training. Both these were in Birmingham, UK. 1. A student aged 7 brought a Stanley knife into school and was taking it out of his pocket and messing with it while looking straight at me. It was pretty scary knowing he knew exactly what he was doing. 2. A very aggressive child attacked me, digging his nails into my arm and drawing blood. He then twisted my arm backwards. That was a fun report. I've also had a chair thrown at me. Fun times. Hey, also Birmingham, UK here. But I am still a student in 6th form right now. The following stories are all from secondary though. One of my friends almost started a physical confrontation with a teacher, to the point that they were physically yelling at each other and squaring up. Another time a group of boys yelled expletives at a female member of staff, the boys that few people liked. The number of their friends decreased to why. Teachers started searching students' bags because so many people were bringing in weapons. In a school near mine, a teacher got stabbed, chairs were being thrown around, a teacher's arm got broken. It was bad. But that wasn't my school. Mine still had its fair share of incidents not pertaining to teachers, but we were not that bad, thankfully. I did the best I could. At one point, I had to literally snap at this girl being annoying. We had a teacher who did not speak English as their first language. People made fun of his accent every lesson and got angry that he did not teach them anything when they did not truly give him a chance. On the back row with my friends, I was having a great time. We realized if you actually bothered to listen to what he's saying, not hard to understand despite the accent, you get taught. But people painted their own narrative, and that's what it was to them and always would be. Regardless, this girl kept going on and on about it, and eventually I just said, maybe if you shut your mouth and actually listen to what he's saying, you'll learn something. That got a laugh out of people. Me, the scrawny, weak, frail, smart guy getting annoyed and angry. Didn't change anything. To be honest, I only really liked being there because A, I knew the teachers and my mother worked there, and B, I liked my friends. The people who weren't crazy were actually quite sane. I hail from and live where Peaky Blinders is set though, so maybe the writing has been on the wall for this area from the start. Also from Brum. I was an English language teacher 1 year and was teaching international students in Birmingham 15 years ago now. One group was from Saudi Arabia. The boys were unruly, but mostly fine. They were respectful and even fun. Well-spoken and pretty smart students, except one. I've taught 1,000s of students now, 5 years as an English teacher, 7 years as an academic skills lecturer, and during a PhD. That one student was the most dangerous I've ever encountered. I'm certain he would kill someone. He had such a violent temper. He would not listen to me because I'm a woman. He screamed at me when I gave him homework. He frequently broke the rules, and any time I tried to enforce the appropriate response, he would flip. I mean, screaming, throwing things, the works. One time I put my foot down and said no, he would not be allowed on the trip. He literally lunged at me and tried to stab me with a pencil. 3 of his classmates had to hold him back. I shudder to think what that boy of 14 grew up to be like in Saudi with other women. I worked with a young kid, around 8. He was growing up in a household surrounded by women, several older sisters. He was the only boy and the youngest. I remember quite clearly, and I was 18 at the time, on a gap year work experience, him telling me his dad was glad 9/11 had happened, and that he never did his homework because that's what his sisters were for. His dad actively encouraged him to ignore his teacher, the TA, and myself because we were all women. Honestly, it was horrifying. I couldn't believe I was hearing it. I think teachers in the UK should get free judo, jujutsu, or BJJ lessons as part of their ongoing training. If not, then it should be recommended you do it in your spare time. I can't explain strongly enough how empowered and safe you would feel if you did. After 6 months of jujutsu, I felt pretty capable of defending myself against most untrained attacks. because a lot of the defensive behaviors and actions are natural reactions. A punch is swinging at your head. The natural reaction is to cover your head. The jujutsu training is cover your head. Except the extension to that is then clinch the arm and you have control over it. So they throw the second arm. Put your arm up to defend. Loop it round and hold it in place again. Now both their arms are locked under yours. They're disarmed, literally. One of the first things they teach you in judo and BJJ is falling/ukemi. How to be thrown, fall down, or hit the ground without getting injured. Kid pushes you, and you fall over. Without training, you could bust your head open. With training, you could hit the ground and jump back up without being hurt. I used to have these long conversations about how my mate should learn jujutsu with me. I'd give long monologues like the above to him all the time. He thought I was boasting. I wasn't, though I could see his point. Anyway, one day we're both tired, out of our tree after getting home from German Xmas market. He shouts, "Okay then," and out of the blue rugby tackles me in his bloody kitchen. What happened? Bear in mind, I'm drunk and tired after about 6 HRS at German market. Before my back touched the ground, my arm had locked his head hard round the neck. As my lower back made contact on the ground, both my legs went onto each of his knees ready to push them out. As soon as my mid-back touched the ground, he screamed, "Stop, stop, stop." Because of the positioning, I was wrenching his neck. He was completely neutralized. Importantly to you though, 'cause I know teachers can't hurt kids, was my mate injured? No. You can quite easily disable someone without it leaving a mark on their body. Anyway, after that Xmas rugby tackle, my mate admitted he may go to a class with me. I'll never forget the day I had a student light off a firework in my classroom. It's not the worst thing I've ever had a student do in my classroom, but it's definitely the most unexpected thing that I've had happen. I've been called things by students, and I'd even got pushed by a student once, but looking back on all of those situations, I feel as if they could have been avoided, and I built up better relationships with those students or handled the situations that lead up to them differently. With the firework in class, it was completely out of the blue, and not at all something I feel like I could have prevented. It just happened randomly one day, and I will never understand why the student decided to set it off during class. I had a student run into me and bounce off of me. She then accused me of shoving her and hurting her back. I was relieved of my position and I resigned. Fortunately, the footage shows that I was hit by her, but I still lost my job. After an inquiry with the Texas Education Agency, they found I did nothing wrong and I got to keep my license. Fortunately, I was offered a position with a government contractor making more money with a lot less stress. I never want to step foot in a classroom as a teacher ever again. School districts can be absolute jerks, and what's worse, as you said, teachers are basically replaceable in their eyes, despite the fact they want only the best and scrutinized degrees. I actually dropped out of my teaching program because I needed life-saving surgery, and while my teaching school was okay with it, my college I was working through basically said I would have to start from scratch on earning my degree because it's too much of a hassle for us. I almost wanted to shout, "I'm the one driving it now?" And from that school, to teach those great kids while you sit in your ivory tower telling me I'm not putting in any dedication. I miss the kids, not my college.